What's up, guys? Ashley Christopher here. Welcome back to episode 2 of the What Would Ashley Do podcast. Special shout out to our sponsors at the Platinum Restaurant and Lounge. We're going to get right into today's episode. And today, we're going to talk about the power of the pivot. Ever since I was 3 or 4 years old, I wanted nothing more than to be a lawyer. I would walk around saying it. I would tell people that didn't even care or solicit the information. I'm going to be a lawyer. So that's what I grew up and did. I had dreams of becoming a criminal defense attorney, an entertainment attorney, a civil rights advocate. I wanted to do all of those things. So I held on to that dream and made sure I didn't let go until I achieved it. So after graduating from Howard University, I took 3 years off from school, and then I began to apply for law school. I struggled to get into law school. I am not the best standardized test taker, so my LSAT scores were poor at best. But I ended up getting into the University of DC Law School, and it was an incredible experience that I had there back in Washington, D.C. A 3-year period of really learning the law, leaning into what it means to be a lawyer, and actually doing the work along the way. But after law school, there's this little thing called the bar exam that you have to pass if you want to be considered an attorney. So, as you're aware, I am not the best standardized test taker, so I struggled. I've never passed a bar that I did not fail at least once. So I'm licensed to practice law in the states of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And it was such a journey to get across that finish line. After finally passing the bar, I had to figure out what I was going to do next. I had dreams, aspirations, civil rights, entertainment. So I decided to take the journey of becoming a law clerk, because doing the law clerk job, you really learn and discover what kind of law you would love to practice. You sit with a judge, you go to court with that judge, you help them with rendering their decision. You write down all the facts that you find in the process while you're exploring both the prosecutors and the defense arguments. And you sit with that judge and determine and talk through, hey, how should we decide on this case? Now, obviously, ultimately, the judge makes the decision. But as a law clerk, you get to intervene in the day-to-day actions being taken on that case. So it's a really exciting time. I spent time in family court, in the court of common pleas, and in superior court. I saw good lawyers. I saw not so good lawyers. I saw lawyers that didn't care. I saw subject matter that I would take home with me. Sometimes it would be so heavy. Sometimes I would leave the courtroom excited about a decision that was rendered because I really wanted to see somebody take home a win. But all in all, after that 3-year journey of clerking and a 3-year journey of law school, and after accumulating all the debt associated with becoming an attorney, you know what I decided? I don't even want to be a traditionally practicing attorney. How did we get here? You've accumulated all this debt. You struggled through the bar. You finally passed, although you never passed one that you didn't fail first. You spent 3 years of your life studying the law, another 3 years being a law clerk, and then you decide you don't want to do it. So I struggled, because after you pass the bar and you have this experience as a law clerk, you can go on to a firm and make well over 6 figures and just do well. And I had to decide, is this the life that I want? I felt so convicted that that lane was no longer for me, but I also felt like the responsible decision is to go on and be a lawyer. This is what you prepared for. This is what you wanted to do since you were a child. You put everything into this and now you don't want it. So what's next? So I had to sit with all those thoughts and figure out what I was going to do. And I had made the ultimate decision that going to a law firm and being an attorney in that sense was not for me. So I started to look around. I contacted some mentors, told them what I was thinking, and some of them, to be honest, thought I was crazy. But I ultimately found, those in my circle that understood the space I was in my life and helped me to navigate that journey, that process, to figure out what was going to be the next step. So I had some conversation and I decided maybe I'll do some public service work in government. So I'm living in the city of Wilmington, and a new mayor is going to be elected soon. Actually was newly elected, and he was looking for a team. I got a meeting set up with the mayor that was coming into office to see what his goals and plans were, to see if I'd be a fit on his administration. And it worked out. But I have to say that even when I was offered the position on the mayor's staff, I wasn't happy to take the job. And the reason I wasn't happy to take the job is because I felt so convicted about betraying my passion to be an attorney. So here I was at a crossroad. Do I take a firm job and make maybe $180,000, get some increases, some bonuses, continue to ascend along the way? Or do I take a government job that felt better when it came to my convictions and what I wanted to do long term, but I was taking a significant pay cut? And when I say significant, I mean sub 100,000. Okay? So I had to sit with that, make that decision, and see what was best. And ultimately, I decided to go the government route. But it literally made me sick to take that job. My flesh was sick. It felt weak. It told me over and over, do not take this job. Why are you taking this job? But I learned along the way that that was my ego. My ego was telling me, you're a big bad lawyer. Why are you going to take some government job? You're an attorney. You could be making almost 200 grand and you're going to take a job that's making less than 100,000. You've accumulated all this debt. You've got to pay off your student loans, and you're going to take the lesser paying job that has nothing to do with you being an attorney. But I felt the nudging and I felt the conviction, and it was so strong. So I took the job. I took the job. I go to the mayor's office, and the rest was history. The mayor asked me to come up with some programming that was pointed at Wilmington's underserved communities. I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do, but ultimately I decided education was the best space for me to navigate. Being a 2-time HBCU alum and seeing so many HBCU alum in the mayor's administration, I decided, why don't we expose children in the city of Wilmington to all the benefits of attending an HBCU? So it started small, right? I'm like, hey, mayor, why don't we just have a small college fair-like event? A few hundred kids in the city of Wilmington, bring some HBCU recruiters down, have some conversations so they can learn about the beauty of HBCUs. So we started to market the idea, planning for 200 students. But no sooner than we started to market that idea, that 200 number spiked to 700. So year one, in the city of Wilmington during HBCU week, we had a college fair with 700 students. So I knew that if the appetite for an HBCU education in the city of Wilmington, very small city, second smallest state in the country, if the appetite was like that here, then we had the potential to make this a really huge initiative. So let's fast forward. Now it's 2024. We're going into year 8 of HBCU week. It's now a week long of events. It emulates an authentic homecoming experience. It gets the community, the students from young to old, engaged and excited about HBCUs and HBCU culture. We do all the fun things: a concert, a comedy show, a battle of the bands, a block party, a middle school college tour. Stephen A. Smith is now our brand ambassador. He comes in town for a live broadcast of First Take at that college fair. And the college fair is the most impactful event that we put on. Why? Because graduating seniors can engage directly with HBCU recruiters and recruit for on-the-spot college acceptances and scholarship awards. Since 2017, we've been able to offer more than 8,000 college acceptances on the spot, and we've raised and awarded more than $87 million in scholarships. This is why there is so much power in your pivot. If I would have never taken the job in the mayor's office and gone on to that firm job, the HBCU Week Foundation Initiative would not have been birthed. It was in that office where I had the space to be a creative, to come up with an idea, to innovate, to expose all of the kids in our community to the benefits of attending an HBCU. And since then, we've been able to service more than 45,000 students. 45,000 students have all benefited from this program that started just from a simple question the mayor asked me. Hey, Ashley, can you come up with some programs pointed at Wilmington's underserved communities? And had I not pivoted when I was tapped on my shoulder to do so, when I felt convicted to do so, had I not answered, all of those people would still be waiting for the assistance that this foundation provides. We've taken this show from Wilmington, Delaware, to Atlanta, Georgia, to Walt Disney World. And now HBCU Foundation is its own standalone 501c3 nonprofit corporation with a board of directors and a team that works day in and day out to make sure that students that want to go to HBCUs have the resources to do so. And what we're most proud of is our FOSSI scholarship. We were able to broker a $40 million commitment from the American Chemistry Council, whereby they are underwriting $40,000 scholarships to students who are headed to an HBCU that have declared a STEM major. We've given out just under 500 of those awards so far, and they have changed the trajectory of so many lives. Students that are able to now go to school without the burden of student debt, worrying about being purged from their classes, or where their tuition money is going to come from. And remember, this is all the springboard of an idea that came from a person who had the courage to pivot. So for anybody out there that's questioning what's next for them, listen to your convictions. It's okay to change your mind. Never get so married to an idea that you miss your moment. For me, being an attorney was the goal. I wanted to do that since I was a kid, and I never deviated from going through with that. So yes, I went to law school. Yes, I am now a licensed attorney. The good thing for me is that the skill set from being in law school is transferable among any lane that I decide to go into. So if you're like me and you went to school and studied something for many years and decided, hey, this isn't what I want to do, just be cognizant about the skill set that you've gotten from that educational process, because I'm sure that there's something or some things you can take from that journey to apply to your future. Everything happens for a reason, and all of the things that you pick up along the way are a part of your journey. So don't reject that stuff. Figure out ways to make use of it in your future. I encourage you to be aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your convictions, and be intentional about that awareness. Because for me, my convictions were keeping me up at night. I wanted to take the job that paid me more. I wanted to take the job that made the most sense. But I wouldn't have been able to sleep if I did, because I was being called in another direction. So stay in tune with those convictions and follow them. Your discernment means everything along your journey. And I'll also leave you with this. Faith truly inspired my pivot. I had to lean on my faith and the fact that I know that God is with me. There were so many instances where I could have decided not to take the job in the mayor's office, and so many reasons to justify. But faith led me to follow my convictions. Faith led me to do the thing that scared me. Faith led me to take the job that paid almost half of what I could have been making had I taken the other position. So you have to remain faithful and true to your convictions. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 2 of the What Would Ashley Do podcast. Thanks again to our sponsors over at the Platinum Restaurant and Lounge. And that's a wrap on episode 2.